that is equally, if not more, arbitrary and unreasonable, and that more often than not encroaches upon the fundamental rights of countless Indians. Sadly, so it is with this bill. Even as it seeks to revise the colonial bill, this bill retains its draconian and colonial provisions, that too while eliminating the burden of accountability which a governmental enterprise like India Post ought constitutionally to shoulder. And sadly, it offers no new ideas to bring our post offices into the 21st century. As someone who has great respect for the minister, I am disappointed to see him putting this half-baked reform before the House. Mr. Speaker, let me first remind the House that there is no debate on any piece of legislation happening in a vacuum. There's always a context, and around a month or so ago, several outspoken members of the opposition, including myself, received a threat notice from Apple, warning us of the fact that state-sponsored attackers were trying to infiltrate our phones, by doing which they could access sensitive data and even hack our phones' cameras and microphones. Was it really so long ago that the threat of Pegasus loomed large on us all, surveilling our every move, tracking our every utterance? These are realities we must bear in mind as we begin debating this bill, which strikes at the heart of our constitutional values, our fundamental rights, compelling every ordinary Indian to live at the mercy of our state's pervasive and suspicious mistrust of its own citizens. On the one hand, Mr. Speaker, sir, the government says it wishes to reinvigorate the Indian Postal Service by widening the range of services it renders so it becomes more useful to the Indian populace. We heard the eloquent examples of my friend the minister. I'll come back to this issue because I don't think the bill does this at all. But on the other, sir, the government, through this bill, grants itself sweeping powers to infringe upon the citizens' rights to freedom of speech and expression, as guaranteed under Article 19(1)(a) of the Indian Constitution, and our right to privacy, which the Honorable Supreme Court in K.S. Puttaswamy recognized as being a subset of the right to life and liberty enshrined in Article 21. The government assumes these powers through Section 9 of the bill. I would urge all our friends to look at their screens, Section 9 and 10 of the bill. This entitles it, using merely a notification, to empower any officer to cause any item in course of transmission through the post office to be intercepted, opened, or detained in the interest of security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, etc., or upon the occurrence of any contravention of any of the provisions of this Act or any other law. Now, these are strikingly vague grounds and can be construed to cover anything that our government doesn't like. Indeed, the government doesn't only seek arbitrary powers to spy on Indians by rummaging through their private correspondence and their shipments. As the second clause of Section 9 makes clear, they may also direct India Post to dispose of, which is to say to destroy or trash, any item, any personal article that has fallen foul of their ambiguous definition of what constitutes a threat to India's interests. Further, through Clause 9(3), our government, again by a simple notification, may empower any officer of the post office to confiscate any item. I'm summarizing a rather long legal clause, which is before you all on your screens. Now, there's a lot to dissect in this one section alone, starting from the fact that the Supreme Court, in the 1996 judgment of People's Union for Civil Liberties versus the Union of India, a matter concerning the interception of telecommunications, opined that a just and fair procedure must exist to regulate the power of interception, because in its absence, it is not possible to safeguard the rights of citizens under Article 19(1)(a) and Article 21. To fill this gap, the Supreme Court laid down several safeguards, such as, Mr. Minister, the Supreme Court said, establish the necessity for interception, limit the validity of interception orders, authorization is required from high-ranking officials, and most important, interception orders are to be examined by a review committee. I can't help but wonder why our government, in conceiving of this bill, failed to take such a crucial verdict of the Supreme Court into account. For as it stands, the bill is far more detrimental to the fundamental rights of Indian citizens than the colonial era law it seeks to supplant. In fact, Mr. Chairman, in some ways, the 1898 Act was less arbitrary because though it allowed interception, it specified, unlike this bill, the circumstances under which interception could be carried out. Section 26 of the 1898 Act empowered the central government, the state government, or a specially authorized officer to direct through a written order any postal article to be intercepted, detained, or disposed on the occurrence of any public emergency or in the interest of public safety or tranquility. Now, while examining the 1898 Act in 1968, the Law Commission opined that the term emergency is not explicitly defined, provides far too wide a ground for interpretation and therefore for interception. And the Commission added that a public emergency cannot be a constitutionally permissible ground for interception if it does not impinge on the security of the state, public order, or any other thing specified in the Constitution. Therefore, it can certainly be said that the criterion of emergency, which unfortunately again features in this 2023 bill, may be beyond the scope of the reasonable restrictions permitted by our Constitution. Even as recently as 2015, in the matter of Shreya Singhal versus the Union of India, the Supreme Court reaffirmed that arbitrary grounds for restricting freedom of speech and expression are unconstitutional. Here we have once again our government being willfully indifferent to the wise counsel of the highest court of our land. In fact, by not even defining what sort of matter and material cannot be sent through the post, something which the 1898 Act does, our government has sought to make Indians yet more vulnerable to this attempted mass surveillance. So Section 9 of the Post Office Bill 2023 not only grants the government Orwellian powers to intrude into our lives by intercepting, detaining, destroying our correspondence or our consignments, it also does not provide for any mechanism whereby the concerned citizen can even be informed of their correspondence or consignment having been intercepted, and whereby they can contest India Post's decision to intercept, detain, or destroy their correspondence. In other words, there is simply no grievance redressal mechanism in the bill, an absence which is felt all the more keenly if you just scroll down to Section 10. By keeping Indians in the dark as to the interception, detention, or destruction of their correspondence and consignments, and by not allowing them to contest these decisions, which are inherently arbitrary, our government has violated every principle of natural justice and due process of law, because in cases like these, neither will it bother to listen to the other side, nor will it grant the concerned citizen the right to make a case for themselves. In this regard, the 2023 bill is also violative of Article 14 of our Constitution. The problem of this bill's not having a grievance redressal mechanism becomes especially agonizing when we look at Section 10. What an irony it is, Mr. Chairman, sir, that today the private courier services in our country are far more accountable to the people of India than the Indian Postal Service, which is an undertaking of the central government. While the Consumer Protection Act of 2019 holds our private couriers to account, that does not apply to India Post. And now, pursuant to the second clause of this bill's Section 10, no officer of the post office shall incur any liability with regard to a service provided by the post office unless the officer has acted fraudulently or willfully caused loss, delay, or misdelivery. Now, this clause bolsters our government's power to intercept, detain, or destroy our postal articles without being in any way accountable to the people of India. We also cannot hold postal workers liable for loss, delay, or misdelivery, for then will commence a debate about whether the omission was committed willfully or with a fraudulent intent, plunging the ordinary Indian citizen into endless red tape. Indeed, because the bill does not provide a grievance redressal mechanism, Indians have absolutely no avenue to hold the postal service liable, and because the Consumer Protection Act does not apply to India Post, the people of India are not entitled to compensation should they incur any loss or damage owing to the post office's negligence. Interestingly, the prescription of liability is itself a power that the government assigns itself. If you look at Section 10(1), notwithstanding anything in any other law for the time being enforced, the post office shall not incur any liability, except such liability as may be prescribed with regard to a service provided by the post office. Now, Mr. Chairman, sir, I must say to the Minister that when you yourself can decide where you will be accountable to the people, when you yourself can choose whether you want to be accountable to the people and how much you are accountable to the people, that means you are not accountable at all. That is the broad meaning of this outrageous drafted bill. To send across a letter or parcel through India Post is to fling it essentially into a black hole with no accountability whatsoever as to whether it will reach its destination or be received by whoever you're sending it to. What's more, you would not even get to know what happened with your letter or parcel, because nowhere in the bill does there exist any provision to notify the concerned citizen that their item has been intercepted. Now, this is profoundly worrying. It would have been one thing to exempt postal workers from liability relating to intercepting items, that the bill does not even consider them liable for such blatant wrongs as loss, misdelivery, delay, or damage is downright unacceptable, not least for those e-commerce portals that are the backbone of digital India and that choose to deliver their products through India Post. I love those examples our minister gave us. Miss so-and-so here, Begum so-and-so there, and so on, have been sending those items. But under this law, if those items are damaged, misdelivered, stolen, no one will know anything. They won't even be notified. What kind of bill is this, Mr. Chairman? All in all, Section 10 might well be interpreted as the government absolving the employees of the Indian Postal Service, even though they are public servants, of the accountability that all public servants legally have to the citizens they serve. Moreover, given that India Post is planning to add an array of financial services and products to its portfolio, it is imperative, especially while rendering services where citizens' sensitive data is involved, that we proceed with the utmost caution, protecting our consumers, our citizens from fraud, data breaches, and similar transgressions. I should like to remind this House that it's only by strictly ensuring that postal workers are liable for wrongdoings that we will succeed in reinvigorating India Post. Ultimately, in the absence of a grievance redressal mechanism, the citizens will have no option but to seek justice by moving the courts in accordance with Articles 32 and 226 of our Constitution, and that will merely increase the pendency of cases piled on top of our already overburdened judiciary. Mr. Chairman, sir, let me draw your attention to the fact that the Indian Post Office Act of 1898, this colonial law, was far more accountable to the Indian people than this new law, which is presented to us as a break from the colonial past. Under the 1898 Act, for instance, the illegal opening of postal articles by a postal officer was punishable with imprisonment for up to 2 years, or a fine, or both. In stark contrast, under this bill, 2023, there's no repercussion for such a flagrant violation of our right to privacy. As I've already mentioned, the bill in Section 10 states that no officer will be liable with regard to a service rendered by India Post. And of course, the fact is that if indeed an officer does indeed willfully commit transgressions, the bill does not specify what the punishment is, unlike the 1898 bill. Formerly, under the 1898 Act, transgressions like theft, misappropriation, destruction of postal articles by an employee of India Post used to be punishable with imprisonment up to 7 years and a fine. But the Jan Vishwas Amendments of Provisions Act 2023 struck off all such provisions. All such punishments are gone. So first, Jan Vishwas watered down the offences and penalties that an officer of India Post was subject to under the 1898 Act. And now this bill, by dispensing with these offences and penalties, wishes to make the officers of India Post, the employees, and therefore our government, wholly unanswerable to the citizen of India. Wow. Now, the jarring absence of either any liabilities or a grievance redressal mechanism in the Post Office Bill 2023 flies in the face of how the same minister's other ministry, the Railways, holds itself accountable to Indians. The Railway Claims Tribunal Act 1987 instituted tribunals for dealing with complaints against the Indian Railways for lapses of services. If your 2023 bill here did not want to go so far as to establish a grievance redressal tribunal, at the very least, you could have incorporated the Supreme Court's 1996 recommendations regarding the exercise of the power of interception. Through this bill, our government has sought to make itself the judge, jury, and executioner in all those cases where a citizen's correspondence or consignment is found violative of the bill's excessively vague grounds. On this bill, Mr. Chairman, sir, there is nothing that is reasonable, there is plenty that is restrictive. Now, according to the Universal Postal Union, 73% of the postal services in the world over suggest that without a complete digital overhaul of postal facilities, the survival of post offices is simply not feasible. That our government in an age of digital India and self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar India, should fail to lay down the groundwork for such a reinvigoration is unimaginable and sad.
Yes, now please.
Imagination is what this bill lacks, Mr. Chair. Today, India Post has a monopoly on conveying letters. Gone are the days when they had a monopoly on anything else. Our post offices could be steeped in antiquity, staffed with demotivated employees whose only job was to push stamps and files. Our postal services are at a turning point today and must compete in order to remain relevant. If it envisages India Post, so I need another 5 minutes. I'm the principal speaker of my house. I've only got so the major point. There's two small points coming. If it envisages India Post as rendering e-commerce, e-government, and e-finance, then our government must move towards its rapid digitization and diversification. A simple step, just to illustrate the point I'm seeking to make, is the idea that others are discussing of an encrypted digital postbox service being introduced, a sort of like an India Post email service, which will save Indians a lot of money in postage fees. Through this service, such a service, citizens can view, manage, and organize their digital communications from numerous providers in a single location, and that too through just one account. Through this account, citizens can receive and respond to several transactional communications and securely manage by linking it to their UPI other affairs such as booking railway, bus, and air tickets, paying for governmental services like LPG, electricity, water, and so on, and perhaps also for private services like Netflix or Spotify. They should also be able to upload and store documents and receive important notices and reminders. So in other words, the goal should be to make India Post useful to the ordinary Indian citizen by thinking out of the box, as also by discussing threadbare in Parliament what sorts of facilities we must afford our citizens and why. India is not alone at being at this crossroads. Several countries of the European Union, as manifest in their e-government benchmark report 2019, have grappled with this. And many of them have reached the conclusion that digital services must be introduced to help postal services survive, launch them into a new glorious era. Many European governments have introduced measures to communicate with their citizens digitally through a trusted, secure version of their postal service. We must remember, sir, that citizens will be willing to share their personal data online only if their government can guarantee them the highest standards of digital safety and security. Sir,
please try to.
No, sir. I'm prepared to speak for my parties. You've got to give me the time I was promised. I was told 25 minutes. I have not taken that long. We also have at our disposal.
Yes.
We also have at our disposal a magnificent lattice work of real estate that can and must be put to better use and made commercially profitable. In an economy like ours that is fast becoming an e-commerce delivery chain, as the minister has said, postmen who are given, of course, to going everywhere in our country to the most remote places can be utilized as a last mile carrier, and India Post is collaborating with Amazon already. We have this robust infrastructure. We have lakhs of dedicated postal workers. The endeavor now must be to reimagine and remold it so that the post offices can actually move into the 21st century, provide financial services, which is already mentioned, like the India Post Payments Bank. But why not, for example, institutional credit? Nearly 40% of our rural population lack access to credit, another gap that India Post can strive to fill. In many countries, post offices have been repurposed to provide additional services beyond their traditional role. The minister mentioned several exports from remote areas, but that was already the work of the post office in sending out any packages. Why can't we think more imaginatively about service delivery? Would it not be more wonderful in rural areas to see them transformed into internet hubs that enable students to access into educational material and complete formalities like filling examination forms online, all without any need to go too far from their homes? Why not voters' registration, driving licenses? Some post offices abroad have gotten to all this. They've expanded their offerings to include retail services, including selling stationery and books and gifts and so on, like the Japan Post Group does. In some countries, post offices have partnered with healthcare providers to offer medical services such as vaccinations, health checkups, and prescription delivery. Imagine during COVID if we could have gone to our local post office.
Parurji, please now conclude, because one second. Your party is having 3 speakers. The total time allotted for the party is 25 minutes. Already you have 22 minutes. Either
I'll take
please.
just 1 minute. I'll get you, sir.
Please.
Okay. Let me just complete, sir. Just another minute. These are important points, sir.
you already spoke well about the bill. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah,
Please
I've gone into the bill in some detail because it's important. We're seriously discussing this bill, sir. But anyway, just to add, I will try and conclude very quickly by just pointing out that the minister's goals he mentioned are all laudable aspirations. They're crucial for the reinvigoration of India Post. But perhaps the greatest flaws of this bill, the evident disdain for our fundamental rights, apart from that, is the fact that it harps on about this alluring destination without prescribing a map that will get us there. Nowhere in the Post Office bill does our government spell out how exactly it intends to convert India Post into a network for the delivery of citizen-centric services. We are being asked to take solace in the fact that once the bill is passed into law, our government will whirl a magic wand of rules and regulations and catapult our postal services to be dazzling new heights. There is no specific promise to the citizens of India. Other than that, the post office will not be accountable. The post office will not be liable.
Thank you.
So, sir, I'll just conclude. If this transformation comes at the cost of endangering every Indian citizen's right to free speech and expression, every Indian's right to privacy, every Indian's right to natural justice and due process of law, then the remedy is worse than the disease. And therefore, I would say this bill is a great disappointment, and I request the minister to kindly return to the drawing board and come back with something better. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shashi Tharoor. Now, next, Sri Tapir Gauji. No. Oh, please. No. Rajya Sabha, please. Rajya Sabha proceedings. No. Rajya Sabha proceedings cannot be quoted here. No. No, Rajya Sabha has nothing to do with the Lok Sabha. Please.
Honorable Chairman, sir.
Yes, please.
As
Yes, you may please.
sir, as
No. Please.
98.
No. See you.
Indian
One second.
Postal
One second.
Indian Postal
One
Act.
second. One second. No. Honorable. Then you start.
ये 125 साल एक पुराना ब्रिटिश लीगेसी एक्ट को आज पोस्टल बिल द पोस्ट ऑफिस बिल 2023 को मैं समर्थन करने के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूँ। आज ये कांग्रेस
No. One second. Yes, Adhir.
सर अभी ये खबर मिली है कि जिस दो शख्स ने ये गैलरी में आई थी वो बीजेपी पार्टी के किसी एमपी उनका ही पास लेकर ये दोनों सदन में घुसे थे। तो कहाँ सुरक्षा है कि बीजेपी की एमपी खुद।
Yes. See, all the honorable speaker has already. No. The honorable speaker has already ordered that at 4 p.m. there will be a meeting of the party leaders, and this will be discussed there, and after that this will be discussed in the house also. Yes, please.
सर ये 125 साल पुराना एक ब्रिटिश लीगेसी
Abhiranjan ji was also there at the time when the speaker is making the ruling. You are also there.
मिनिस्टर असमी जी इस बिल को लेके आ रहा है और इस बिल के माध्यम से आज कांग्रेस इतना चिल्ला रहा है। कांग्रेस का जमाना में 2004 से लेके 2014 तक ये 664 पोस्टल ऑफिस बंद करवाया गया, लेकिन मोदी जी आने के बाद 2014 to 2023 5,000 नया पोस्ट ऑफिस खुलवा दिया और इसी साल 5,746 पोस्टल और देश भर में खुलने जा रहा है और खुल रहा है। इसलिए इस पोस्टल के माध्यम से हमारा दूर दराज पहाड़ी इलाका में और गांव में सारा पोस्टल का सुविधा मिल रहा है और ड्यूरिंग कोविड में भी पोस्टल का इतना सुविधा उपयुक्त पब्लिक ने मिला है और इसको मोदी साहब ने और असली साहब ने इस चीज को आगे ले जा रहा है। आज पोस्ट ऑफिस में हिंदुस्तान में 28 करोड़ अकाउंट खुला गया और इसमें 17 लाख करोड़ डिपॉजिट भी किया हुआ है पैसा, और इसका माध्यम से सुकन्या समृद्धि में 3 करोड़ अकाउंट भी खुला है और साथ में 1,41,000 करोड़ डिपॉजिट देश भर में हो रहा है। और साथ में महिला सम्मान सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट के ओर से 21 लाख का अभी सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट हुआ है। साथ में ये पोस्टल ऑफिस जो है, ये पोस्टल सर्विस जो है सिटीजन सेंट्रिक एक सर्विस है। और हमारा ऑनरेबल मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और साहब बोल रहा था, अगर नया कानून लाता है तो देश का अच्छाई के लिए, सर्विस का अच्छाई के लिए ही लाता है। तो इसलिए आप हर चीज को कांग्रेस इसका विरोधी में आप निकल जाता है, पब्लिक सेवा को आप लोग भूल जाता है। साथ में यहाँ पोस्टल ऑफिस में तो ये पासपोर्ट सेविंग साथ सेवा केंद्र बना दिया। आज इस पोस्टल पासपोर्ट सेवा केंद्रों में आज तक 438 सेंटर्स देश भर में खुला है, जिसमें 1 करोड़ 25 लाख एप्लीकेंट को सुविधा मिला है। साथ में मैं अदर एनरोलमेंट में भी 13,500 सेंटर देश भर में खुला है इस पोस्टल माध्यम के तरफ से, और इसमें 8 करोड़ 83,000 करोड़ कस्टमर को इसका ट्रांजैक्शन होने का सुविधा मिला है। और साथ में मोदी जी का नेतृत्व में आज इंडियन पोस्ट पेमेंट बैंक, ये आज एक कांग्रेस का समय में, कांग्रेस का रूल में, ये एक institutions and organizations which are to be close in the country। लेकिन मोदी जी ने जैसे इस चीज को बैंक पोस्टल सर्विस को आगे बढ़ाया, 650 ब्रांचेस विथ 1,54,000 अकाउंट पॉइंट हब ऑफिस में खुला है। और साथ में इसमें
If you go back to the seats, I will.
8 करोड़।
If you go back to the seats,
8 करोड़।
I will give the opportunity. I will give the opportunity.
और इसमें 8,800 करोड़ डिपॉजिट हुआ है।
When the
साथ में
speaker
हमारा
was here,
other enabled
when Shashi
payment
Tharoor was speaking, no disturbance was there.
PS में 10
No
करोड़ का
interruption was there.
ट्रांजैक्शन देश
No,
भर में
this-
हुआ है। साथ में DBT 3.5 करोड़ अकाउंट खुला है। तो ये एक पब्लिक को, हमारा देशवासियों को, जो गांव और दूर दराज हिमालय में बसे लोगों को भी इस पोस्टल सर्विस से बहुत लोगों को सुविधा मिल रहा है। इसलिए इस कानून को मैं समर्थन करता हूं और ये कांग्रेस वासियों को भी, ओपोनेंट लोगों को भी मैं ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, ये पब्लिक सेवा के लिए ये कानून अमेंड करने के लिए 125 साल के बाद लाया है। तो इसलिए हम सब मिलकर इस बिल को पास करना है ताकि गरीब जनता को और गरीबों को देश भर में सुविधा मिले और इसका सेवा मिले। इसलिए मैं इस चीज को समर्थन करता हूं। और साथ ही इसमें मैं ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर को यही रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि हम गाँव दूर दराज इलाकों में जो बसे हैं, इसके लिए भी इसका सुविधा होने के लिए नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक दूर दराज इलाका में सर्विस दे नहीं पाता है। इसलिए ये इस पोस्टल सर्विस से हिमालयन बेल्ट में दूर दराज गाँव में इस पोस्टल सर्विस का अकाउंट खुले, सेंटर खुले, ताकि हमारा गरीब जनता इसका उपयोग मिले और देश भर में इसको फैला देना चाहिए ताकि हम गरीब जनता इसका सहायता मिलेंगे और उपयुक्त यूज करेंगे। इन चंद शब्दों के साथ मैं इस बिल को समर्थन करता हूं। नमस्कार, जय हिंद।
Thank you. Next, Srimati K. Kanimori. Kanimori ji. Kanimori ji speaking. Speaking, sir.
एक मिनट प्लीज माननीय सदस्यगण प्लीज माननीय सदस्यगण, मैंने आप सबकी भावनाओं को पहले व्यक्त कर दिया है और 4 बजे इस विषय पर सब दलों की मीटिंग बुलाइए। 4 बजे तक के लिए सदन स्थगित किया जाता है। ओके,
I have responded. Everyone knows it, sir.
No.
Now, with this seniority,
No. Say-
I can't advise you, sir.
No.
I can only suggest.
No. Anybody can advise me.
No.
That's why I'm here. So, 1 मिनट आपको सब एक ही में, क्योंकि ये मामला उस हाउस का रहे तो भी ये दोनों एडजेसेंट बिल्डिंग है। उसकी जब
They are functioning.
नहीं
They are transacting
उसको
business.
अगर आग लगी सर, उसको अगर आग लगी, इसको भी आग लगता है। वहां एडजस्ट हो गया और आप होम मिनिस्टर आने के बाद एक स्टेटमेंट दिलाई, क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ। तो ये
One second. When Honorable LOP and I see in Mr. Malika Arjun Khadge beyond the status of LOP, not that he's president of a party. Apart from that, he has a huge experience. He has seen many things. My appeal to you, sir, my appeal to the leader of the opposition is that I have shared the input with the House. I called the Director of Security. He said they have been apprehended. They are looking into the matter. I have directed.
That's why, sir, sufficient information not came. That's why the Lok Sabha adjourned.
Sir.
Therefore, we request you kindly adjourn. Let Home Minister come and
Let us see
give
what
the
he has to say.
details. And
Let us see, sir, what leader of the House has to say. 1 second, sir. Yeah.
बात है जो इंसिडेंट हुआ, लेकिन ऐसे में जो विपक्ष का रवैया है वो मुझे लगता है देश को एक संदेश देने का होना चाहिए कि देश में हम सब
Nothing has been
देश
gone
की
record
अखंडता
except.
और प्रभुता के लिए एक साथ खड़े हैं। जो लोकसभा में भी एग्जाम हुआ वो उन्हीं के कारण उन्होंने इस विषय को गंभीरता से लेने के बदले हाउस चलने नहीं दिया। मैं समझता हूँ राज्यसभा हाउस ऑफ एल्डर्स है। हमने एक मैसेज देना चाहिए कि ये देश की क्षमता, ये देश की ताकत इन सब चीजों से उठकर है और हाउस जरूर चलना चाहिए। हम सब सदस्य हाउस चलने के पक्ष में हैं और मुझे लगता है कि कांग्रेस इसका पॉलिटिसाइजेशन जो कर रही है ये देश के लिए अच्छा संदेश नहीं होगा। मेरा अनुरोध है माननीय लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन से, इंक्वायरी चल रही है, इंक्वायरी के लिए वेट करना चाहिए हमने और सदन की कार्रवाई को सुचारू रूप से चालू रखें।
लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन, बाकी बैठिए. You see, 1 second. It is an issue where we should deliberate in all seriousness and in a composed atmosphere. Leader of the House has said something. It is not necessary for everyone to subscribe to it. There can be other point of view. Honorable
सर देखो मैं इस सर
Sir, if leader of the opposition is on legs and you still wish to speak,
सर इस सदन के
I would appeal to the honorable members, let us show minimum regard to rules. If leader of the opposition is on his legs, let him alone respond.
सर
I fully believe in his wisdom. No one can question his credentials. So let us hear him in rapt attention. And then I will seek response of the treasury benches also. Please, sir.
सर इस सदन के नेता ने कहा कि ये बहुत गंभीर मामला है और अपोजिशन के लोग देश के लिए यहाँ जिन लोगों का पहले जो शहीद हुए थे उनको तो श्रद्धांजलि सब मिलके ही किए और देश के यूनिटी के लिए और देश के हिफाजत के लिए हम हमेशा तैयार हैं और हमारे लोग जितना सैक्रिफाइस किए तुम्हारे पास एक चूहा भी नहीं।
सर 130 करोड़ लोग तैयार हैं।
सुनिए
There is no soul in the country who is not ready.
ये हमको सिखाते
130 करोड़ जनता
ये
तैयार है
हमको
इसके लिए।
सिखाते हैं देशभक्ति, ये हमको सिखाते
We have
हैं
to
देशभक्ति।
exemplify.
ये तो देश के विरोधी लोग हैं।
No, sir. Nothing will go on record
देश
now.
के
Sir. Nothing will go on record. Nothing will go on record. I now call upon Sri B. Linga Yadav. Please resume your address. Please resume your address.
Sir, the Central Universities Amendment Bill 2023, sir. The bill establishes a Central Tribal University in Telangana. It will be named the Sammakka Sarakka Central Tribal University, sir. Its territorial jurisdiction will extend to Telangana, sir. It will provide avenue of higher education and research facilities, primary for the tribal population of India, sir. It is Andhra Pradesh Rehabilitation Act 2014 provide that the central government will establish a tribal university, sir, in our Telangana state, sir. both I talk Telugu, sir. ఇది చాలా సంతోషించదగ్గ విషయమే. మరి మా తెలంగాణలో ఈ యొక్క ట్రైబల్ యూనివర్సిటీని ఏర్పాటు చేసినందుకు మా బీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీ తరఫున మేము అందరం కూడా చాలా సంతోషాన్ని వ్యక్తం చేస్తున్నాం. కానీ ఈ యొక్క తెలంగాణ యూనివర్సిటీ మరి గత 10 సంవత్సరాల క్రితమే తెలంగాణ ఆవిర్భవించినప్పుడే ఏర్పాటు చేయవలసింది ఉండే. దురదృష్టం కేంద్రంలో ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రభుత్వం ఆలస్యం చేసింది. ఇప్పటికైనా ఈ యొక్క గిరిజనుల మీద ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రేమతోటి మరి మేము కోరినటువంటి విధంగా ఈ యూనివర్సిటీని ఏర్పాటు చేసినందుకు మేము ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాం. ఈ యొక్క యూనివర్సిటీని ఏర్పాటు చేయటంలో ముఖ్యంగా ప్రధానంగా మా బీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీ ఆనాడు తెలంగాణ ముఖ్యమంత్రి కేసీఆర్ గారి పాత్ర గణనీయంగా ఉంది. ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా వారు అనేక రిప్రజెంటేషన్లు ఇచ్చారు. మా ఎంపీలను కూడా అనేక సార్లు పోరాడినామని చెప్పి ఈ సందర్భంగా మీకు మనవి చేస్తా ఉన్నాను. ఈ యూనివర్సిటీకి సమ్మక్క సారక్క పేర్లు పెట్టడం చాలా సంతోషం. మా దగ్గర గిరిజన వనదేవతల పేరు పెట్టారు కాబట్టి ఈ యూనివర్సిటీని సక్రమంగా భక్తిపూర్వకంగా నడిపించాలని కోరుతున్నాం. మరి మా యొక్క అనేక ఆ కాలంలో కేసీఆర్ నాయకత్వంలో ఈ ట్రైబల్స్ కు అనేక విధాలుగా మేము గవర్నమెంట్ లో చేసాం సార్. 10% రిజర్వేషన్ గానీ ఈ యొక్క గ్రామ పంచాయతీలో తండాలుగా చేయటం గానీ అందుకని రీసెర్చ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కోసం నిధులు కూడా వెచ్చించాలి సార్. 1 minute సార్. అట్లనే ఈ విద్యా సంవత్సరం నుండి క్లాసులు కూడా ప్రారంభించాలని చెప్పి మేము కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వాన్ని కోరుతున్నాం. తెలంగాణ ఏర్పడినప్పుడు ఇచ్చిన ఇతర హామీలు కూడా దీంతో పాటు నెరవేర్చాలని చెప్పి మా బీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీ డిమాండ్ చేస్తుంది సార్. ధన్యవాదాలు సార్.
Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, not present. Dr. V. Sivadasan, not present. Sri Abdul Wahab, not present.
No present. I am very much here. No. After this. Hello, I am here. No.
Very much present. I have noticed his presence.
Yeah, I will tell, and after that I will walk out. After that I will walk out. See,
No.
I support.
It's a support.
I support the bill.
Honorable member,
I support the.
honorable member, we are responsible members
Yes, very much.
of a very important August House.
Yes, and very
You're saying
important
I'll walk
subject
out.
also.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
my heart pains
Yes.
when some of the members, even when the house is in order, they make their speech and walk out.
No.
It is our minimum duty
Okay, I
to
will be
listen to others also.
Okay, I'll be here.
You enlighten us and get enlightened also.
Okay, sir.
You have, sir,
Yeah, Honorable Chairman Saab.
2 minutes.
1 minute is enough.
Okay.
I am supporting this bill. In the Central University, don't make like our Kerala universities. What is happening here, both in Central and in State, it's all politicizing. So students are going out. Students are going to different universities in different part of the world. That is continuing every month, every year. Thousands of students are fleeing from here. Why? Because the universities are now completely politicized, either BJP or our government also. Now in Kerala, what is happening is the governor and the state government, being the chancellor, he is using his power. Being the government, they are using their powers. It should not happen in central universities also. Our expectation is at least the north, in Delhi and all, university should function for Keralites also. So everywhere it is politicizing, nepotism going on. So ask our Mantriji, don't politicize these universities. It is the university is only our hope for our youth, for the employment and all. Please make use of this university and give more skill development in universities, skill development courses also. Thank you very much.
Announcement by the chair. Honorable members, the copies of the bills, that is the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization, Second Amendment Bill 2023, and the Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill 2023, both as passed by Lok Sabha, were circulated in the morning today. As the bills are to be taken up today, those honorable members who desire to give notices of amendments to the said bills may do so till 4 p.m. today. Briefly.
भाग्य की बात है कि जब जब कोई ओबीसी का बिल आता है, कोई ट्राइबल वेलफेयर का बिल आता है, कोई ना कोई विषय बना के विपक्ष सदन को छोड़ के भाग जाते हैं। तेलंगाना के लोगों ने अभी अभी उनको चुन के भी सरकार दी और ये बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी तेलंगाना में लगने जा रही है। ये समाज वर्षों वर्षों से प्रतीक्षा कर रहा था, उनको सही इज्जत मिले, उनको नए मौके मिले, नए एजुकेशन के लिए भी एवेन्यूज मिले। इसके लिए 10 साल से हमारी सरकार प्रयत्न कर रही है। हमारे एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर डिटेल में बताएंगे, लेकिन वर्षों वर्षों तक राज्य सरकार के पीछे पड़ने के बाद उन्होंने कई बार इसके लिए हमें परेशानी भी की, फिर भी केंद्र सरकार लगी रही और ये आज ये सुनहरा दिन है कि हम ये पास करने बैठे हैं। लेकिन जबकि लोकसभा में भी स्पष्ट कर दिया गया, इंक्वायरी हो रही है, डिटेल्स की हम प्रतीक्षा करें और देश को संदेश दें कि मिलके हम एक मजबूत ताकत की तरह इस प्रकार की घटनाएं होने नहीं देंगे। आप सर, मैं मुंबई से आता हूं, जब कांग्रेस की शासन थी मुंबई महाराष्ट्र में और केंद्र में दोनों में, तब इतना बड़ा हादसा हुआ, इतने लोगों को सैकड़ों लोगों की जान गई, विदेश से टेररिस्ट आए, 4 दिन तक मुंबई हॉस्टेज था, लेकिन कभी पॉलिटिसाइज नहीं किया। विपक्ष में हम बैठे थे तभी, उल्टे मुंबई अगले दिन, ये शाम को हुआ था, रात को अगले दिन ही हम काम पे लग गए और एक संदेशा दिया दुनिया को कि भारत में वो ताकत है और क्षमता है कि हम किसी भी प्रकार के हमले से डरते नहीं है, किसी भी प्रकार के घटना से हमारे ऊपर आंच नहीं आएगी, ये देश एक है। विपक्ष ने एक जिम्मेदारी का स्टैंड लिया था, बड़ा दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और मुझे तो क्लियरली दिखता है कि ये एंटी ट्राइबल माइंडसेट दर्शाता है कि ट्राइबल का एक यूनिवर्सिटी का अच्छा बिल को हम समर्थन ना देना पड़े, हाउस में बैठ के वोट ना देना पड़े, हाउस में बैठ के सरकार के काम को समर्थन नहीं देने का एक एक्सक्यूज बना के, जबकि हाउस स्मूथ नहीं चल रहा था, तब जाके वॉकआउट करना एक बड़ा दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण।
प्रोफेसर मनोज कुमार झा नॉट प्रेजेंट, डॉक्टर वी शिवादासन नॉट प्रेजेंट, श्री वी विजय साई रेड्डी not present. Present. Sir, you are not on your seat and therefore not present for me. But the moment you occupy your seat, you are present for me and for everyone in the house. Your 2 minutes.
Sir, this is Central University. Central University.
2 minutes.
1 minute is enough, sir. Sir, only one point I would like to bring to your notice, sir. We wholeheartedly support this bill on behalf of our party and this thing. So the only issue, sir, I wish to highlight the Honorable Education Minister is to the menace of temporary campuses, sir. Those institutions which have been promised to the state of Andhra Pradesh under the AP Reorganization Act have been, of course, fulfilled by the government and they have been established, but they have been established only in the temporary premises, sir. And these temporary premises are not enough to expand the courses or for undertaking any other activity in full-fledged manner, sir. Therefore, I request the Honorable Education Minister to open up the full-fledged campuses and permanent campuses and then maintain the standards of central universities, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Srimati Mahua Maji, not present. Shri Kanak Medra Ravindra Kumar.
Sir, thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Sir,
2 minutes.
Sir, I am from Andhra Pradesh relating to this subject. Kindly, you are generous towards
2 minutes.
Giving 2 more minutes.
2 minutes.
Let me say. This issue arose, sir, this is because of the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, which dedicated 2 universities, one for Telangana and one for Andhra Pradesh. We are currently discussing regarding Telangana. Sir, I would like to brief history with regard to the Central Tribal University for Andhra Pradesh also. Sir, Telugu Party was in power and Chandrababu Naidu was the chief minister at that time, from 2014. We have been strongly pursuing the central government for establishing the tribal university, and also the government handed over 525 acres. This compound was also constructed by spending state government funds, but it is not considered till today. And also, sir, but it's in the 16th Lok Sabha, and the edge of the bill was also moved. That was not passed, and subsequently another bill was moved that was passed in the 2009 after 2019. We know that sir,
Vijay Sai Reddy ji, no.
Sir,
The honorable minister
interfering and disrupting
is
the
alert, and when time will come, he will hold the floor.
Sir, my friend Vijay Sai Reddy every time disrupting my speech.
Your friendship is inscrutable for me.
Sir, but now we passed the bill in this house, and we know that the site is ready, and the central government has to take care of with regard to the Andhra Pradesh Tribal University also, sir. But coming to with the AP Reorganization Act, other promises are concerned.
there are so many promises are unfulfilled. It has to be fulfilled within 10 years. Within 4 or 5 months, the time will also lapse. So with regard to the Polavaram project, it is a major. And also